always delighted to talk about Donald Trump, of course.
Now, we've already played a clip in the last half hour, so I won't bore our audience with another one. But Donald Trump basically saying your countries are going to hell to Europe because of unchecked mass immigration, but also because of insane new suicidal net zero policies. I mean, he's not wrong, is he?
Of course he's wrong. We've got cleaner air, longer life expectancy, better life satisfaction. We're not as rich as America. I'll give him that. But
wonder why.
If I was picking one or the other, I would pick Europe still.
Well, but I don't think that's necessarily the choice. I mean, we could be better still, couldn't we? The reality is we've got virtually zero growth to all intents and purposes, and have done for many years. We've got a completely discordant society. We have threats of riots all the time. We've got, let's face it, a very blatant, clear two-tier justice system. We've got not a single public service that works well. We've got the highest energy prices in the world. I mean, which bit of it do you think's going well?
Well, as I say, we've got better crime, we've got better healthcare systems, we've got better social insurance. It's if you're going to be ill here. If you're going to walk in the street, do it here. I think, we are a much less racist country than America is.
I thought we were the worst. I thought we were the worst racist country in the world, according to the lefties here. No.
Not according to this lefty. I believe the figures. I believe the evidence.
Yes, I'm glad. Wait a minute, guys. Stop, press. A lefty looking at the numbers. We are, of course, we're one of the least racist countries in the world. All the stats show that in terms of people's attitudes, mixed race marriages, etc., etc. Here's the thing, though. No, but there's a difference between those things. Can all be true. By the way, I'm not entirely sure. Depends if you've got money or not, whether you want to be ill here or not. I mean, you could argue that actually, there are you're better off actually in Romania. You get better healthcare quickly in Romania if you've got no money. I know this from someone who's actually travelled back from here to Romania because it's still better. You don't have a waiting list for it. But here's the thing. Overall, we can have all those things, but A, it could be better, and B, are any of those things, is cleaner air better? Are any of those things being improved by making energy prices sky high with net zero policies and by bringing in half of the third world to this country? Has any of the things that you are saying are really great about this country or about Europe, has any of those been improved by the two things that he criticised?
I mean, look, I don't think Donald Trump is a good messenger on this. What he actually said was climate change was an outright con, which is just completely
I'm with him
false. On that. I mean, the evidence is wildly against him on that.
No, it's not.
The temperature
really
trend
isn't.
is very, very strong.
No, it's not. But again,
it's easy to Mott and Bailey him. I think we're always going to have quite high energy costs here. North Sea oil is diminishing. Whether you want to drill it all or not, it's expensive to get it out now. There isn't as much of it. We are an island in the corner of a country. America is going to have cheaper energy than us just because of its very, very lucky gift of natural resources.
It has amazing natural resources, but James, but it uses its natural resources. Norway also relying on the North Sea for their oil supplies. Norway doesn't have energy prices as high as ours. Why not?
Well, Norway's almost entirely green power. They sell their oil, they don't burn it.
They sell their oil. What a brilliant idea! But hold on a minute.
They have cheap.
Wouldn't it be a great idea if we sold our oil?
Norway makes my argument, not yours.
Wouldn't it make no, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. They're reliant. Their funding is reliant on that oil. But they also know they've got the backup when the wind doesn't blow and the sun doesn't shine. As you know, they also, by the way, are not a major industrial economy. Small point worth making in terms of their tiny population compared to us. So rather different in terms of reliance in that way. And they're not relying on solar power most of the time. I think we can safely agree on that as well.
I think we can agree on that.
Yeah, exactly. So this is the thing. But they're making money and they're improving their economy and their balance of trade by drilling for gas and oil and then selling it on the market. But we, for some reason, even though it's expensive, can't do that.
Look, they've got a lot more oil relative to the size of their economy. They've got better fields than we do. They were savvier in what they did with them. Putting it in a sovereign wealth fund instead of just shoving it out there. I think we could all agree.
Yep.
We did not manage our oil well, but unfortunately, this sort of idea that suddenly the North Sea goes from a very mature field that's declining, which if you talk to senior oil and gas execs, they will tell you this. There's a sort of fantasy idea of the North Sea as if it's still 1970s.
No, I know, I understand that, but we also have gas that we could frack.
A modern energy mix has got to look different. And look, fracking is a very different issue when you're in America, where there is land to the horizons, where there is all sorts of areas you can frack that's nowhere near big populations, that's nowhere near housing. That's not where we are. You know, fracking is going to be in your garden.
I understand it's not going to be in your garden. I understand all of those differences. However, nevertheless, we have a lot of the same issues as other European countries, and our energy prices are, I think, double the norm, the average in Europe, and they are 4 times what they are in America. I think we can safely say we're doing something wrong. And we know even in Germany, again, they've gone down the green route. How's that working out for them as their manufacturing base completely and utterly disappears? Let's talk about the issue of immigration, though, because, you know, he says your countries are going to hell over unchecked immigration. Now, he's made it really clear. You can, you know, we're an island nation. I think it'd be easier for us to stop migration, even if, you know, the whole of Europe wants to carry on having, you know, the Schengen area and have people just wandering across the continent. That's going to be up to them, although it does look like a lot of those nations are beginning to put more controls in. But he's able to stop this huge pouring of people over this massive long border with Mexico. He's doing mass deportations for legal migrants, and we're still struggling. We've sent 3 back in an exchange scheme with France after 31,000 have arrived just this year, and that's just the ones we know about on the boats. Doesn't include the people on lorries or all the people who've overstayed their visas. He's right, isn't he?
I'm not sure he is.
Which bit's wrong?
Well, he's quite unpopular in America on immigration.
No, he's not. His immigration policies are wildly popular.
No, they're not. The most recent polling, this is out this week, he is -11 on immigration, which is his best issue. He's at -19 on the economy.
One of the reasons he was elected was this policy.
Are not loved. Yes, I agree, but now people are seeing it in action. They're really taking against it. They're seeing the cost of doing this. Trump also had 4 years as president where he completely failed to control the southern border. I'm not sure this is a competent executive. We need to
he did, but he's in office now, and he's done it. 10 million people or so came over during the Biden years, and now the flow has gone to a tiny trickle. I don't think you can say that he's not been able to do the thing that he said he was going to do when he was elected.
No, I said his first term he completely failed.
Yeah, but we're not talking about his first term. He's in power now.
I am. But look, it's going down partly because people are looking and going, I don't want to go there.
Funny that, because I'm going to be deported, yes.
Well, I think there's a risk if we keep screwing our economy. It's not because people will be deported, it's because no one's going to want to come here. But
No, James, that's ridiculous. People living in Nicaragua and Mexico are always going to want to go to America. They don't want to bother going because they know they're not going to be able to get across the border, and if they do, they're going to be deported. That's exactly the sort of policy, if we had here, we wouldn't have this uncontrolled net migration. And this is from illegal migrants. And what about legal migrants? Because we're constantly told diversity is our strength. We need immigration for growth in this economy. We've had mass immigration since the Blair years, since about 2000, and we've had flatlining growth pretty much that entire time. So I think we've pretty much established that it's not a boon for our economy.
I think it's probably the only thing that stopped us being in fairly constant recession throughout. I mean, look, it's dismal. It is dismal. We need a growth story. We need to get some productivity up. We need to work these things out. But as it is, we are not training in key professions. We are not structuring things like care work so that Brits want to do it. We don't do it because we know employers know they've got an unlimited supply previously of, Eastern Europeans to turn up to do those jobs on low wages, now people from the Indian subcontinent. I was about to say we've used immigration to in a quite cynical way to depress wages.
So it's not been a good thing for our economy, has it?
No, I think it's all that's held us together, but it's all that's held us together because of very bad decisions like austerity, like low wages, like other things.
Why there were low wages? Because we had an unlimited supply of cheap labour.
Well, yeah, no, I'm agreeing. In some of these areas, it's very obvious that that's what's happened. Jeremy Corbyn said that in 2017.
Well, it used to be a left-wing position that you would protect British workers, but, you don't care about them anymore. Finally, I just want to ask you, what do you make of Donald Trump and what he had to say about Ukraine? Do you think when he says he's talked about, you try and get your borders back, and he's talked about Russian jets incursions into NATO territory, that they should be shot down? Do you think this betrays a big sort of game-changing change of attitude in terms of his attitude towards Vladimir Putin?
It does for today, but it won't tomorrow. He agrees with the last person who spoke to him. And Zelensky's done a great job there in getting a good message through. It's a good message today. But Trump has given Putin a last warning with 2 weeks to act now, I think, for about 12 weeks. And every 2 weeks, there's a new last warning. Anytime someone from Russia says something nice, the message changes.
So don't get your hopes up.
No,
okay.
it's good.
Well,
it's
one
fine.
person he seems to give a lot of credit to is Vladimir Putin, but it's certainly not Sadiq Khan, the London mayor. He's accused of Sadiq Khan of being a terrible, terrible mayor. He's got a war of words ongoing with him before and after his trip. Both times he's been on a state visit. He's now accused him of wanting to put London under sharia law. What do you make of that claim?
I think it's a fairly ludicrous and fairly obviously Islamophobic claim. I mean, also, Sadiq Khan, you can criticise him for all sorts of things. I would happily do it over housing. I'm not happy with what's happening with housing starts here, but he is a mayor who walks on pride marches. He is very pro-LGBT. He is not trying to come in as a sort of aggressive radical Muslim and impose law on it. Okay. And a lot of this comes from very racist memes of things like no public drinking rules near football stadiums, and someone will get a mosque in shot and make it look like it's Sharia. He is internet poisoned on this. You can accuse Sadiq Khan of many things. I think radical Islam is not one of them.
I have to say, I would agree with you on that. Let's end on a note of agreement. So unusually, James Bull, political editor of The New World. Thank you very much, Steve, for that.